Welcome to The Vault. Tune in every week to unlock the marketing secrets of some of the fastest growing businesses. You'll hear practical tips, strategies, and case studies that will help you build incredible marketing campaigns for your business. And now, here's your host, Stacey Kehoe.
Welcome to the Vault podcast. I'm excited to introduce you to today's guest. Andrew Hawkins teaches business owners how to market and automate their businesses, primarily using the Infusionsoft business automation platform. He has trained over 360 business owners worldwide and is now an Infusionsoft partner and a Microsoft certified small business specialist. Andrew shares his failures in business and how he has rebuilt a successful and thriving business. He advocates having a simple approach to marketing and prides himself on taking the confused business owner from bewilderment to having an aha moment. So without further ado, let's unlock the vault and learn from Andrew Hawkins. Welcome to today's show, Andrew. I'm so pleased to have you here.
Thank you, Stacey. It's really great to be here. Thank you for inviting me onto your podcast.
You are more than welcome. I'm excited to chat to you today. Let's kick things off by maybe if you can give yourself a quick introduction and tell us a little bit about your background.
A bit about myself. Well, I was born in Devon, as you can probably tell from my yokel accent. I don't drive a Mercedes anymore. I drive a combine harvester. I was born in Devon and I've moved around an awful lot. I was schooled both in the UK and I went to an American school in Greece. That's a long story.
Oh, interesting.
Moved around the country quite a bit. Eventually I went off and my father was in the Merchant Navy. He was a master mariner. So I went off and I joined the RAF. Because for the simple reason I get terribly seasick. So I went off, I joined the RAF, and the reason I'm mentioning the RAF is because that probably helped me with the way that I approach problems these days. I was actually an aircraft technician. So there, I was dealing with flow diagrams, circuit diagrams, and you have to have a kind of a very logical way of thinking, almost like Boolean logic, if this, then that. Yeah. So, and also it gave me kind of a can-do attitude. I don't like to be beaten by anything. So, unfortunately, because I was working on jet aircraft, I also now suffer from tinnitus or tinnitus. Apparently, either one of them is correct, and also I'm partially deaf. So, please excuse me if I don't hear any of your questions.
Yeah, you're just avoiding them on purpose. I'll say. No worries.
It's my go-to excuse if I need it.
Yeah. Right.
Especially if the girlfriend's telling me to do something.
I like it. It's good.
Whilst I was in the Air Force, I built up this love of, I actually love computers. Computers in those days were completely new. When I left the Air Force, I actually went off and became a computer engineer. I went up and became a network engineer. And eventually I ended up working as a manager for a large American corporate. So that gave me a lot of sight into the way that the big corporates do things. As a direct result of the Twin Towers coming down, unfortunately, I was made redundant from that business. And so I went off and actually started up my own IT company. And this is where I started now working with small and micro businesses. And one of the things that I really found amazing was the speed that a small business can make changes, especially when it comes to sales and marketing. In the corporate world, you might be spending hundreds, thousands, or even hundreds of thousands of dollars on a single marketing campaign. So you can't just quickly change. And I was really amazed when, I would say to somebody, oh, well, we need to do this. And they go, yeah, okay, it's done.
Yeah, amazing.
I started off doing this IT company and I loved it. And then came the next bit of my qualification. I got it wrong, and I got it wrong big time. I mean, at the time, I was on a number of committees. I used to be on the committees for the Federation of Small Businesses. I worked with the councils on committees. I was working with the police on committees. I was out doing meetings every night. So I was meeting lots of people. But I had just a kind of a few main clients. And I pretty much put all my eggs in one basket. And I didn't market. And unfortunately, it got to the point where one of my clients, they had grown and grown and grown, and eventually they went international. And of course, they said, well, we want you to be able, or we want somebody who can support us internationally. And at the time, I was a one-man band, and there was no way I could do it. And so they basically dumped me. Yeah, they cancelled. Yeah, they cancelled the contract, and pretty much 60% of my income disappeared overnight.
Yeah, it's not an uncommon story, though. I think most people listening probably can relate to that in some way, or if they can't yet, they need to be prepared for it as a small business, because I think, you're not the only one to have gone through those sorts of challenges. I've gone through something very similar myself too, where it's, if you've got, it's almost like, what is that saying about being a sort of one-legged business? Is that what people say when you've got all of your, something like that, where you've got all of your, revenue coming in from one or two sources? It makes you, it's a very risky place to be in business, isn't it?
I think somebody told me the other day, you're never more than 30 days from going broke.
Gosh, yeah, scary.
So, and that is a scary thing.
Yeah.
So to progress with my story, then we had a bit of a health scare, and that was probably the best thing that happened to me, because I kind of dumped everything. I came off all the committees. I got rid of the business, and to be honest, if I'm completely honest, I probably got rid of the business not long before I probably would have ended up going into administration. I mean, I had really got it wrong. I was good at my job. My clients were happy. I just didn't have enough of them. And any business, no matter what you're in, sales is your business. It's one of these things that just cannot be kind of overstated. So, so I decided, right, I got rid of all this, got rid of all the committees, and I went off and I actually became a trainer using Infusionsoft, and I absolutely loved it. I thought it was a fantastic package. And now, with my experience that I've got, I really wish I'd had it kind of years ago. Or even if I didn't have the software, I wish I'd had the knowledge that it imparted in me, because it would have told me how I should have organized my business. And this is what I find is that the clients that I work with now, I mean, they're not stupid people by any means. That they know really what to do, but what they do struggle with is having structure. That they know where they are, they know where they want to be, but they have no idea, how to get from A to B.
So you're talking specifically here, Andrew, about using Infusionsoft and email marketing, or do you mean marketing as a whole?
I'm talking about marketing as a whole. I mean, Infusionsoft is just a tool. It's like any tool. If you leave it in the bag, it won't do a damn thing for you. Okay, and to be honest, people are not interested in buying Infusionsoft. It's like
you're looking to buy a result, really, aren't you?
You're looking to buy a result, yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. So
yeah.
I mean, but people kind of say, how can I keep engaged with my customers, or how can I follow up leads? How can I get payment? How do I aim my marketing at a particular group of people? How do I organize my time? These are the questions that the businesses have. And so I show them what they can do. And I just happen to use Infusionsoft as the platform to accomplish it. So I'm not saying that you need Infusionsoft. I'm just saying that you need something that will help you to automate that part of it.
Yeah, and automate and nurture too. I think that's a big missing part for a lot of people when it comes to their marketing. It's like they may be investing in ads, or they may be going out and pitching or whatever, but they actually, if there's not an instantaneous result, sometimes they're forgetting that actually maintaining contact, building relationships, nurturing them is actually a huge part of your marketing funnel.
Yeah, it's a bit like me walking up to a woman and saying, "Hey, will you marry me?"
Yeah.
Exactly. It's one of these things where people forget. You've got to chat up your clients first. Yeah, so you've got to educate them into what it is that what problem of theirs you are able to cure.
Yeah, able to solve, for sure. Absolutely. And that's actually how I came across you, because you've done some coaching with me in terms of using Infusionsoft and getting some campaigns set up and all that kind of thing. And that was obviously hugely helpful to help support us. So I'd like to talk to you, I guess, a little bit more about that. So, where should we begin? I think we maybe delve in a little bit into, and we don't, as you've mentioned, you don't necessarily have to speak specifically about Infusionsoft, but certainly in terms of how you're using that in the marketing pipeline would be great. So should we start with, what's a general question people ask you all about this? Is maybe how to grow your database, or how to get more subscribers, or how to generate more leads?
All of the above. And to be honest, I find that too many people concentrate on trying to get new leads. That is not the low-hanging fruit. The easiest way for you to make more money is to talk to your current list of people. It will cost you a lot more to try and get new clients than it will to make additional sales to customers you already have, or just talk to the people who you have on your list who haven't bought yet. Okay, so I mean that is the easiest way to grow your business.
And what about the step before that, Andrew? So say, for example, you are really just starting out and don't really have a list yet. What are the options then?
Okay, well, let's start from the very beginning then. All right, let's break down what marketing is. All right, now, as I see it, marketing is very, very simple. It's just not that easy. Okay, so you do need to put in time, you need to have assets, you need to put in effort, and you need to have enthusiasm. Okay, so however, what we then need to do is we then need to have some kind of structure. Now, I believe you use something called Game Changer. Yeah, but we use, well, in the Infusionsoft world, we use something called life cycle marketing. And to be honest, I mean, I've looked at your Game Changer and our life cycle marketing, and to be honest, they're almost identical. All good marketing covers pretty much those same stages. I mean, what is it that you actually need to do? Well, you need to break down your whole marketing strategy into various stages. We start off with targeting our audience. Now, there is no point in talking to somebody about product A if they've already got product A. Okay, so and also it might be that your product is aimed at women over 45. So there's no point in talking to your list of 18-year-old lads. And a good example of this, I was doing a training session with a company that were trying to start one of these speed dating event clubs. And they had created some beautiful videos, and all of these videos were of, I mean, I don't know if they lived in a city where everybody is beautiful, but all the women were beautiful, all the lads were absolutely ripped and buff, and and they showed you all these videos of these events. And I said, well, are all these aimed at that particular age? And they went, oh no, we deal with anybody from 18 to 90, And I said, well, let's be honest, if you showed a video of some 25-year-old
beautiful,
beautiful young slim woman chatting up some guy, and you're aiming this at a woman whose husband has just left her for the secretary, she's not going to want to see that. She wants to see women of her own age having a good time, and getting results from attending these events.
Yeah, which makes sense when you say it out loud, doesn't it?
Yes, yeah, exactly. So, I mean, it's just one of the things. You've got to target your audience. There's no point in you, trying to sell insurance to somebody who's already got that insurance.
Yeah, right.
That type of thing.
Yeah, so understanding your audience, that's good.
So targeting you do by segmentation. Yeah, so really you've got to record on each of your contacts different facts. Yeah, so are they male? Are they female? Do they have this policy already? Do they have that product already, etc.? The more you can mark them up, the more targeted you can be. All right. If you go for the I'm going to market to everybody approach, yes, that's a bit like throwing mud at a wall and seeing what sticks. It just doesn't work. So that's your targeting. Next, you've got to attract interest. So now you can attract interest in various different ways. The most standard one these days is probably by offering them some valuable content. So this could be a coupon, it could be a content, a free trial, a white paper, a report, anything like that. The next thing you need to do then is collect those people who are interested. You need to have ways of collecting that information, whether that be them going to your website and filling in a form, or them phoning up and making physical a connection with you. When you've got to this point, the next thing you need to then do is go into the education. Yeah, and this is the bit that, as you quite rightly pointed out, people tend to get wrong, or they tend to miss it out completely. They tend to go straight for the sale. Again, another cliche. You've got to get people to know, like, and trust you. So educate them as into exactly what it is that, what pain they have, how your product is going to cure that pain. That could be a financial pain. It could be a physical pain. It could just be a business pain. Once you have actually educated them, at that point, you can then go into the offer. You make the offer, and here, ideally, you want to automate things like a nice, easy way for them to actually purchase the product. They don't want to have to go through a huge process in order to buy it. You've got to make it nice and simple. They click on something, an order form comes up, they pay. The next part then is the close. This is where you send them any documents, or you do with the delivery, all that type of stuff. And here, it's kind of recommended that you deliver and wow. Yeah, so if they've bought 2 bottles of product X, send them 3. Or, if they've bought a service of you, give them some kind of extra that they weren't expecting. Then we can go into the kind of offer more. And this is where you can then go into any possible upsells or cross-sells that you might have. And this is often a good point where you could offer them kind of bundles as well. So although they may decide that they just want to buy product A, you could say, would you like to buy product A with product B for a reduced price? Then comes the next bit that a lot of people forget, and I think is extremely important. And this is getting feedback, getting referrals, and getting testimonials. And for those people who are saying, I've got a list of people, but I'm finding it very hard to get new people, then referrals are without doubt the best way of doing it. What I would do is I would ask for feedback first, and feedback is very important because you might think you are doing a fantastic.
Yeah, whether you are is maybe another story. Perhaps, yeah.
Correct, yeah. Or you might think your product is fantastic, yeah. But only by getting feedback from your customers will it enable you to do a couple of things. One, you can fix any problem. Now, I was always told that if you please somebody, they will tell 10 of their friends. If you upset somebody, they'll tell 100. And especially these days where social media is the way to put people down or build people up these days, you can hopefully get in there and sort the problem out. And of course, this makes your customer happy. Yeah. So, and it cannot be overstated too much that you really must get feedback on what you do. The people who give you good feedback, then what you can do with those people is you can ask for referrals and testimonials. And again, testimonials are fantastic because you can put those testimonials up onto your website and it helps with your credibility. If you can get video testimonials, even better, because video is one thing that I think people are still not using enough. They tend to write emails that have pages and pages and pages, and people these days are basically lazy.
Yeah, I just want the quick and easy way of getting access.
That's right. They don't like to read long emails. They tend to scan them.
Yeah. So with video then, do you suggest, because I often get a lot of questions from people about this as to how well they should be produced. What's your view on that? Do you need to hire a videographer to come in and do something really fancy for you? Or can you get away with recording something yourself on your own laptop, on your own iPhone, or whatever it might be?
Okay, if you're a really large company, then obviously you probably use a professional outfit. For most of the small companies, and don't forget, most of the people that I deal with are either one-man bands up to about 10 people. That tends to be the market that I work with a lot. I have absolutely no problem with people using their iPhones. The only thing I would say is do not rely on the iPhone or any smartphone. I'm not advertising the iPhone. Do not use the smartphone's audio. Okay, it is not of high enough quality. Plenty that you can get. You can get wirelessly connected or via Bluetooth, or you can get ones with extra long cables. So the only thing I would say is get yourself a cheap little tripod. You can get little adapters to go onto the tripods to hold an iPhone or an iPad. Where you're going to put that video is another topic of conversation. YouTube is a fantastic medium these days for marketing, whereas it used to be just a kind of a storage area. It is being more and more used now for marketing. There are, however, some times when I would say you might not want these videos to be out on general release. It could be something that people are paying to get that content, in which case I would host it personally at somewhere like Vimeo, where you can set the security settings, and then that video could only be played from your website or on one of your landing pages. People cannot copy it. They cannot do anything else with it. They have to be on that secured page in order to be able to watch that content.
Perfect. So should we jump back a little bit and talk, you mentioned, obviously, we've sort of circled around nurturing a little bit. And I know that you mentioned there that often it's the bit that people don't do really well. So I would like to know your opinion, really, on how long that nurturing period should go on for and how you feel about doing that cross-channel marketing. Do you do it all with email? Do you do it across social? What are the recommendations there in terms of helping to educate and nurture your prospects?
Right. So first of all, then the types of marketing. Emails are fantastic. I would still, however, intermingle it with physical postal marketing if that is practical for your business. Obviously, different businesses will have different ways that they should be marketed.
Yeah, absolutely. I feel like I'm always annoying people with that response. Like, it depends. I don't really know the answer to that until we dig in and understand your product, your business, your audience. There's so many variables, isn't there? But I guess just as a general, I guess it's a good point. It is a good point. It depends on your business. It depends on your audience. But looking at what were you suggesting? So you're looking at your customer persona or the avatar. You're deciding, right, here's where you're hanging out, whether that's, direct mail should be a good option or whether it should be on a certain social media network or whether it is on email. You've got to really understand, I guess, who you're targeting, don't you?
That's right, yeah. And I mean, for the small business market like you and I are talking at the moment, I mean, email is obviously, for any startup company, email is without doubt the easiest and the cheapest. If you can send postal documents or flyers or brochures, things like that, then it becomes a bit more expensive. Obviously, you've got your printing costs. There was a company I came across, and I'm not
advocating specifically.
Yeah, I'm not advocating them.
Yeah.
I think they're called Documail, DOCUMAIL. You go to documail.co.uk or .com, and with them, what you can actually do is you can get them to print. You send them your database. You send them the wording that you want on the letter. They will print it out on good quality paper. They fold it, they stuff it into an envelope, and they post it. And it comes out pretty much at the cost of a second-class stamp. So it's a bit of a no-brainer, really. You cannot do it any cheaper yourself. They don't require you to be doing it in thousands. You can literally do, almost singles up to, tens, 20s, hundreds or thousands. And obviously, if you do it in bulk, it becomes cheaper. So that is one way that I would recommend. I believe the Federation of Small Businesses, for any of your listeners who are members of the FSB, I believe that they used to offer a very, very similar service. It could even be through the same company.
Yeah, I've seen a few of them around. And it's right. And I think, again, it comes back to understanding your audience, doesn't it? And DocuMail is something we've used a few times in the past we work with a lot of clients in the property sector. So often trying to get out to actual residential properties can be a really good way to do that. So, I'll back you up on that point.
Okay. And in fact, the one tip I will give everybody is that there is one marketing medium which actually gets a 100% open rate, or as near as damn 100% open rate.
Great stuff.
And that is the good old-fashioned postcard.
Mm.
If you think about it, people pick up the postcard and at least they look at it before they throw it away. There's nothing for them to open. It's all there. So for people who are looking for a nice, easy way, and you can get them printed very, very cheaply these days by the thousand, now that we've got all this digital printing, I would say that postcards are well worthwhile. And I can remember when I started up my first IT company, I had some postcards printed, and I used to walk around all the houses putting these through people's letterboxes. And it was amazing. 3 years later, I was still getting business from those cards. Yeah. They do work. They do work.
That's great. So what about in terms of the nurturing we're talking about? I guess a big issue I imagine for small businesses is if we're talking about the email route, or I suppose this could apply to direct mail as well, but let's focus on email for a second, is what do you even write about? How do you continue to maintain that relationship? How many emails should you send? What's the appropriate amount? I suppose those are two different questions. So let's start with what kind of content should we be writing about?
Okay, let's start with numbers first. How many should we send? And I'm going to use your answer. It all depends. Right. So the biggest problem that I see with people when they are doing email marketing is they give up too soon.
Yeah.
Okay. I see people. I was working with a financial planner the other day, financial advisor, and he sent one email out. And then he wondered why
it didn't work. It didn't work, Andrew. Why didn't that work?
And even a lot of companies who have been running for a while, they send 3 and then they give up.
Yeah.
I believe, and I'm sure you might have the latest stats on this, a lot of people do not buy until touch 7 to 12.
Yeah, that's right.
Yes. So really, until you've sent out between 7 and 12 emails, a lot of people won't buy. Obviously, that all depends on what it is that you're offering. If you sent me one email that said, send me £1 and I'll send you 20, I'd bite your hand off. But you're not going to be doing those kinds of deals. So you do have to completely engage with these people and build up to the offer. So in the short answer really is as many as it takes. All right. Now, if people are annoyed, they'll just unsubscribe. And if they unsubscribe, that's fine. All right, don't worry about people unsubscribing. If they do that, then the chances are they were never going to work with you anyway.
Yeah, right, exactly. Yeah.
I know you and I, before we came on air, we were talking about GDPR. I think that GDPR is actually an extremely good thing.
Yeah, I'm glad that you've mentioned that because I agree with you, and I'd love you to share with our audience why. Because I don't know if you get the same feedback, but I do, where people are concerned about running email marketing campaigns because of GDPR, and it's not as scary as people think if you do it well or if you take care of it. So to explain that in a little bit more detail.
Okay, well, I mean, GDPR just means that you've got to get permission to hold their data and to market them. All right, so it's nothing too scary. In fact, I think it was blown out of all proportion. I mean, it was one of these things very similar to like PPI companies. When PPI first came out, all these PPI experts appeared, and we've had exactly the same with GDPR. They came out and they they came out with all these frightening stories. It was going to be Armageddon, and it's not. All it means is that, hey, you have to keep a clean list. All right. So there's no point in you having 100,000 people on your database if only 50 are talking to you. You're completely wasting your time. You are much better off getting rid of anybody who is just not interested, because then, like I said, you can then go back, remember, to the very beginning where we do our targeted marketing. So you've now got a group of people who are going to actually engage with you rather than just send your emails into the ether. So I would say, GDPR is a good thing. So it keeps your list clean, and it also helps with your email deliverability. Email deliverability, we could probably do a whole webinar just on this. But basically, a lot of people, they complain that their emails go into spam. I can almost guarantee your emails are being delivered to your intended target's email servers. But these days, everybody like Gmail and Microsoft with Outlook.com and people like this, they assign everybody what they call an email reputation. And what they are looking for is, are people opening your emails? Are they clicking on links? Even better, are they actually replying to you? Do you have a two-way conversation going on? And this helps to build up your reputation, and they will then tend to put your emails into people's inboxes. If you're sending out thousands and thousands of emails and very few people are actually opening them, you then get a bad reputation and your emails will tend to go into the spam box.
Perfect. Yeah, so that again just justifies exactly why GDPR is fantastic, because you're eliminating anybody that isn't interested in receiving your content, and that's going to help improve your overall score.
That's correct. Yep, that is one of the things to do. So next thing then is, you were saying, what should you be talking about?
Yeah, what to write about.
Okay, so, the biggest mistake that I see is people talking about themselves. All right, so at this particular point of the lifecycle marketing path, they don't care about you. All they care about is, what can you do for me and how much is it going to cost me?
Simple, isn't it?
Well, it is. Again, this goes back to my forces. Yeah, I like to keep things simple. I don't like BS.
Yeah.
Okay, so you mustn't be talking about yourself. All right, they're not interested. You're wasting your time. Right? And worse, you're wasting their time, which means they're much more likely to delete you. When we're looking at the content of an email, what should we be doing? Well, to start off with, 80% of an email is its subject line. There is no point in you having the world's greatest email if nobody opens it.
Yeah, right.
Okay, so the first thing you've got to do is make sure that you have a compelling reason for them to open up your email. The best thing to do is kind of describe a pain or a need that they have or want. Yeah, so it might be, are you getting divorced? Okay, well, if they are getting divorced, they're going to be interested. Yeah, and they might open up. It might be something like top 10 tips to an early retirement. Yeah, so top 10 tips or top 5 tips, anything like that, they are very, very popular. Now, for people who, we could talk for hours.
Yeah, you could, yeah.
Just go online, go to Google, just type in email subject lines. You will find thousands of documents there. And that is what I would kind of recommend that you do to look at good subject lines. Or why don't you just look at the ones that you tend to open? What have people written? Yeah, what made you open that particular email? A good subject line is the next bit. And also these days, and I can't remember what the proper name for it is, you can also now get this kind of sub title.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I can't remember what it's actually.
Almost like, I don't know what they call on emails, but for example, it's like a little meta description, isn't it? Like a subtitle or description of a little preview, I suppose, of what's going to be inside the email.
Again, yeah. So again, in there, you can be talking about some of the benefits that they're going to get by opening up that particular email. And then we come to that word, benefits. too many people talk about the features of their product. Okay.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
It'll take you from 0 to 100 in 6 seconds or whatever. People don't care about the features. What they want to know is, what is it going to do for me?
Yeah.
They want to know, what are the benefits? So what you do is you describe. I would open up the email, maybe talking about the pain or a requirement that they have. Then I would talk about the benefits that your product or working with you would achieve. Maybe I might give them some help on how they could help themselves. Yeah, so you're telling your audience how, something that they could do to help themselves.
Yeah, I like that. So it's giving value, but you're not trying to sell to them yet.
Correct. Yep. And then you come to the sell, as you call it. However, working with you, you'll enable them to achieve it faster, cheaper, whatever. Yeah. So, or your product will, take away their pain, that they've got there, meet their requirement. So really, the product should sell itself. Yeah. You let the benefits sell the product. Don't try to sell the product and then tell them about the benefits. It doesn't work that way.
So I think that makes sense in terms of obviously offering value. I think the thing is, if you can offer something really valuable in that early stage of the email, then people are often nervous about giving away value. It's like, oh, I can't really tell it away. They have to buy it from me. And actually it's the opposite. It's like, if you can teach them and prove to them how insightful you are, or how much you're able to help them with that particular issue, problem, need, whatever it is, that helps to bring them over the line and them actually wanting to work with you, because they can see the value that they're going to get. So I think that makes total sense. So what happens then, that's obviously great for one email, but how, we obviously have to do this, we're saying sort of between 7 and 12 times before someone's going to make a purchase. So how do we extend the content and try to fill that out over the course of sort of 12 emails or so?
Okay, so but what is it you're going to be writing about? Well, think about, what is it that your current clients ask you about? Okay, so but what are the questions that they ask? And then what you could do is you could create emails that govern those subjects. It could be that there are certain reasons why people hesitate to buy from you. Yeah, they've got worries and concerns. So what you do is you create emails that address those concerns before you're even making the request for the sale. So there are lots and lots of things, the ways you can go about this. You can give away valuable content. I mean, that's a good one, obviously. You can give them checklists, stuff like this, things that they could be doing themselves. I wouldn't make necessarily every email a salesy email. Yeah, I would go for education content. Then I would probably have one where you have education content with a request for the sale. Then I would go back to education content, request for the sale, education content, and so on. Yeah, so there is no reason why, though, even at the bottom of your education request, you can't give them a way to contact you if they do wish to purchase straight away. Yeah, so you don't always have to wait, to point 7 to 12 to do the sale. You give them as easy a path as possible to buying your product or service.
So that ratio is roughly 3 to 1?
I actually kind of drop it down I start off with like 3 or 4 education, then I hit them with the first salesy type email. Then I might just do a couple of education, hit them with a sale. Then I might just go back to 2, 3, 4 education. Again, it all depends on what the product is. And I'm sorry I can't be more
I understand,
specific, but there are so many.
Yeah, there is. It also depends on the size of the product, the size of the purchase too, right? So, for something that is, between, less than £10 to sign up to, whatever it might be, it's very different from trying to sell something that's thousands of pounds. So there's so many variability there. So I totally appreciate that.
Yep, that's correct.
So I guess we've talked a little bit about, in terms of the volume of emails, but what about frequency? How often should those be going out to your prospects? Again, it depends.
It depends. Yeah, it depends on what the purchase cycle would likely be. Yeah, if you're talking to a larger corporation where they have to have meetings, etc., before they can make any kind of decision, then you would probably have your emails fairly wide apart. It might be every fortnight, it might even be a month before the second email. However, for most of the clients most of the audience that we're probably talking to today, I would probably say, you send out your first email as soon as possible, as soon as they've requested whatever your lead magnet was. I would put them straight into the nurturing campaign. I would probably have emails no more than 2 or 3 days apart. And for probably the first 2 weeks, I would probably be keeping them at kind of the 2-3 day apart. After that, I would probably start to extend it out a bit, and I would probably have them kind of 4 days apart, going up to a week apart, going up to a fortnight apart. And at that point, to be honest, if they haven't purchased, I would probably put them more into a long-term nurture campaign. So initially they go into a short-term nurture. This is where it's pretty much bang, 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 bang. Yeah, you're trying to get them. They're hot. Once you put them into the nurture campaign, you'll probably go to kind of fortnightly emails to monthly emails. So all you're doing then is you're just drip feeding them. And again, if you make your content good, it doesn't matter. Yeah, so that they will open your emails. So content is king. It's all about getting the right message to the right people at the right time in the right format.
What kind of metrics do you like to look at for tracking this kind of thing? Is there a certain open rate you like to look at, or what other metrics do you use?
Open rate and clicks is my personal kind of favorites, and then obviously sales. Yeah, at the end of the day, sales is king.
Yeah, of course.
It doesn't matter if you've got fantastic marketing. If you're not actually getting sales, then actually you haven't got fantastic marketing.
Yeah.
So, but the reason I measure the email opens, because if you get a poor rate of email opens, then the chances are your subject line is wrong.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're not opening. They're not interested. If they are opening your emails, but they're not clicking, then it's your offer that's wrong. Okay, it's simple. So, and as long as you keep to these very simple, basic stages and very simple metrics, I think some people try to get too overcomplicated. If you make life complicated, people won't stick to the process. To get rich, you need processes. All right. And I said that to somebody the other day, and they went, "No, I'm going to win the lottery." And I said,
good luck.
Right, okay. You're going to win the lottery, right? I said, so to start off with, then you're going to check your petrol. Then you're going to get into your car. Then you're going to drive to the post office. Then you're going to select your numbers. Then you're going to get your ticket. Then you're going to store that ticket somewhere safe. Then you're going to wait for the draw. Then you're going to check your ticket numbers. And then you're going to go back to the post office to either collect your money or to buy the next ticket. Guess what? You've just been through a process. Now, or what you could do is you could register online. You could select your numbers. You select how often you want it repeated. You give them your bank details. Then you just wait for your email. And then the system takes over and it either deposits the money or takes the next lot. It's another system, but it's one that's much more effective.
Much more efficient, automation where possible.
Correct, yeah. Everybody, I can guarantee everybody listening to this podcast already uses processes. Do they use good processes? That's $1 million question.
Yeah, that's right. So I think it's just, and I think the big thing there is knowing what the process should be, right? So I think that's the challenge for a lot of small business owners is, should they be following somebody else's processes? Should they be creating their own processes? And I guess this is another kind of, it depends on what it is that you're trying to achieve. But yeah, the more regimented, I suppose, you can be with the way that you approach something, then of course, the more successful or more controlled the outcome is going to be.
I just recommend that they stick to the lifecycle marketing. Yeah, target, attract, capture, educate, offer, close, deliver, offer more, and get referrals. If you stick to that plan, then you won't go wrong. right? Every bit of marketing. I have never seen any marketing that does not fit into one of those stages. And it gives them that structure. As I said to you before, the people, they just get lost. And I mean, it's no wonder, because these people, everybody listening, you're trying to run a business. So that means that, and you might be a one-man band, or you might just be two or three of you. So you're trying to do sales, you're trying to do marketing, you're trying to do delivery, you're trying to do accounts, HR, admin, customer service. At the same time, you're trying to be a wife or a husband, you're trying to be a mum or a dad. Yeah, you are basically chief cook and bottle washer. All right. So it is no wonder why so many people struggle to run a business. Automation does one thing really, and that is give you time. Yeah, so it can take away a lot of the repetitive, recursive tasks that happen within your business, and it is good. People sometimes say, well, it becomes very impersonal. If it's done badly, then yes, it becomes impersonal. However, if you do it correctly, it actually means that you can offer an extremely personal service. Yeah, it's really targeted to your client's needs.
I know, for example, from being on your database, that I obviously see a lot of your email marketing and things coming through. But is there anything else that you're doing in your business to attract leads into your business? How are you getting in front of people?
I'm kind of slightly different in as much as I'm an official Infusionsoft partner, and I'm an official Infusionsoft trainer as well.
Perfect. Oh, perfect. So partnerships. I think that's a great marketing strategy.
Oh, yeah. And this is something that you said to me earlier on, what about people who don't have a list at the moment? Well, one of the things that you could do is have a look at teaming up with another company whose list is of your interest. It's the same people,
same sort of customers, same prospects.
Yeah, right. But where you don't clash with them. Yeah, so where you could maybe offer something of benefit to their customers, and that will then give you a market to go for. Failing that, you're going to have to get out onto social media. You're going to have to think about exactly where, and again, it comes down to this targeting. Where is your target audience likely to be? Yeah. What forums are they hanging out in? What magazines do they read? Do they attend certain clubs? Do they? Yeah. So you've got to know exactly who your target is and where they are, and then that is where you dump your marketing.
Any final points you'd like to make here, Andrew, before we share with people how they can get in contact with you?
Well, the biggest tip I can probably give to anybody is get yourself a good accountant. Good accountant is one thing that all small businesses should have. Yeah, a good accountant will save you more than he costs or she costs. After that, then I would read up on email content, because the biggest problem that I see is that people just don't know how to write emails, and this is something that we can help you with, but I'm not here to try to advertise my services as such. But you do need to really think about your emails.
Yeah, brilliant. Well, I've seen some really fantastic little blog posts or whatever top tips on your website, so I'll happily share and link to those in our show notes for sure, because I think it's really just providing really great insight into how people can get a little bit better at this.
Okay, yep, that's great.
Sounds perfect. So tell us about any social media platforms you're on. How else can we get in contact with you?
The easiest way to contact me is probably directly through my email. So that's Andrew@ttg, that's Tango Golf Digital. So it's ttgdigital.co.uk. Or you can go onto our website, www.ttgdigital.co.uk. And that is probably the two easiest ways to contact me. If they want to phone me directly, it's 01452 540 321.
Fantastic. That's great. Thank you, Andrew, for everything that you've shared here with us today, because I think there's some really valid tips there and just really fantastic. Well, you've walked us through a process, haven't you, which I think is just really valuable for a lot of different small business owners. So thank you once again. I've really appreciated having you here, and I hope you've enjoyed your time with us.
It's been an absolute pleasure.
An excellent episode there from Andrew Hawkins. Here are my top 3 attention grabbers from this episode. Attention grabber number 1. Infusionsoft is a tool. And just like any tool, if you leave them in a bag, they don't do anything. You must have a marketing plan in place. I thought that was really great advice. We're all guilty of subscribing to different marketing tools we want to implement in the business, downloading blueprints and strategy sheets and all this kind of stuff, and not actually doing anything with them. So make sure that you are using the tools that you have in your bag for all your marketing tricks. Attention grabber number 2, chat up your clients. So you must educate your prospects. You want to chat them up. You want to nurture them. They need to understand what it is that you do and how you do it before you're able to make a sale. So don't forget to nurture those prospects and chat up your clients. Attention grabber number 3. Marketing is very simple. It's just not that easy. I thought that was really, really great advice from Andrew. You do need structure. So remember to break down the stages of marketing. You want to begin with targeting, speaking to the right people, and make sure that you're segmenting your audiences. Then look at how to attract your audience, whether that's free trials, downloads. Think about lead magnets that you can offer your ideal prospects. Collect their data and then use any kind of marketing tool to educate them, inform them. That could be something like Infusionsoft or any other kind of mail platform. Could be social media. Just think of a way to educate and inform your prospects so that they learn to know, like, and trust you. All of this must be done prior to selling to them. And once your prospects have become a customer, don't forget to upsell, cross-sell, and of course, ask for referrals and reviews. Thought that was really, really great advice. Don't forget to connect with Andrew online to stay updated with his latest advice. And finally, you'll find the link to my upcoming Content Creator one-day workshop in London in the show notes. Tickets are on sale now. We have a special booking code to give all of our listeners, which is 10% off. Use the booking code THEVAULT, VAULT. Book your ticket today to ensure you make 2019 a year of incredible content for your business.
You've just been listening to the Vault podcast with Stacey, Kehoe. If you've enjoyed the show, she'd really appreciate you leaving a review on iTunes. And don't forget to head over to www.thevault.global for more free content that will help you build an effective marketing strategy.